Thursday. Happy Thursday, and we are very close to full moon, and we are very close to the very popular 8-8 portal. So let's see what comes up for today. We'll start with prayer, and then we will meditate. And once we have the meditation kind of energy, then we will read a little bit from the teacher Torkom's writing related to the full moon of the festival of Leo. That's how he says. He says all the full moon as the festivals. So yeah, let's see what comes up for today for everyone. But let's meditate together. So everyone, close your eyes, put your hands together in front of your heart. We'll say the wholeness invocation to the Most High and the Holy Divine Supreme Mother. Thank you for divine peace. Thank you for divine love, mercy, and grace. We humbly invoke for your divine guidance, help, healing, and protection. Open your arms to receive, tilt your head forward. Thank you, thank you, thank you for blessing all of us with a healthy and fit body, clear heart and mind, wholesome and correct speech, faithful and grateful soul, on all levels, in all directions, with humility, love, and respect, in full faith. So be it. We'll say the prayer for wholeness. May I be a humble servant for the Most High and the Holy Divine Supreme Mother, with this whole body, heart, mind, speech, and soul. Gently put your hands in blessing position. May I show compassionate activity towards every person, every being without exception, in the higher, in the middle, in the lower worlds, and in all 10 directions. Put your hands together in front of your heart. Hallelujah. Shalom. Asheo in full faith. We'll chant Om thrice. Om. 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 Gently put your hands on your lap. Continue to keep your eyes closed and we'll meditate together. Gently be aware of the soles of your feet, base of your spine. Feel the connection with Mother Earth. Mentally or verbally affirm, I'm strongly connected and rooted to Mother Earth. Be aware of your physical surrounding, your hands, your toes. Come back to your waking consciousness. You may gently open your eyes with a smile. So today we are referring the constellation of Leo. So all those who have been there, you know that every time we talk about whichever full moon we are coming across, and then so that we can be aligned with that kind of energy, and then we can make best use of the energies that are projected towards us. So I'm starting with the first chapter that is mentioned. It is chapter 18 in the second volume of the Wisdom of the Zodiacs by Constellation. So it's very interesting. The title that the author has given to Leo is Examination of Self for the first chapter. And the chapter starts with, we celebrate full moons, festivals, in order to examine ourselves and see how we are unfolding, developing, and blooming. It is like we actually celebrate full moon festivals in order to examine oneself, like where I stand and how my journey is growing physically, emotionally, mentally. So we celebrate full moon festivals in order to examine ourselves and see how we are unfolding, developing, and blooming. Full moon festivals are times in which we observe and examine our physical, emotional, and mental life and check our orientations. I do not know how many of us do that. But what if we start doing that? That we use that time where the sun is full, like what is full moon? Where even during the night, the sun energy is the maximum. That's how it is, right? Orientation, yeah, I was about to come towards that. So it is like it is a time in order to examine ourselves, and this is the full moon is a time where we observe and examine first where we lie physically, how healthy, not healthy, emotionally, how positive by default I am, or how unwholesome emotions I carry, my mental life, and check our orientations are kind of, how to say it, where you are already kind of driven to, if that makes sense. I will try to use the dictionary words to bring more logical answers. Interestingly, I have noticed when I am reading, um a lot of times so much of heartfelt experience flows that it becomes a limitation to put in just the app words, so I use the dictionary. So the determination of the relative position of something or someone, that is orientation, relatively where you are, to examine the position. So let's say, uh, okay, for now, my direction is this. So when I'm looking at this, my direction, my location is, on the north side, south side, west side, from the aspect of one center, where is uh, how to put it in words, the position of something, where someone, something lies from one aspect. Let me give an example. So from this aspect, when we are talking about our physical, emotional, and mental life, we all have our own specific benchmarks or our own scale. Correct? I cannot compare my life to life of Marisha. I mean, I cannot compare how healthy or sick I was with how healthy and sick you were. I can only compare that from my, right? So it is like orientation, where my life, like from the standpoint of where I was, where I'm moving, where I am right now, and where I'm heading to. So let's say, for example, somebody was really unhealthy, like lot of health challenges going on, where there's a lot of restrictions of even food, and then allergies, and you cannot do this, cannot do that. So from there, the person started working, changing the lifestyle and doing all kind of things over the period of next 5 6 years. Now the person can go out, now the person can eat this much of this, that much of it. So if we see that orientation is kind of towards health, towards improvement, does that make sense to everyone? Right? So it is like where you can see where that something is in a relation where it is and where it is going. So, full moon festivals are times in which we observe and examine our physical, emotional, and mental life and check our orientations, that where am I going? If I continue to do what am I doing? Am I going to fall? Am I going to fly? Okay. Leo is a constellation of millions of stars. The energy holding this group of stars together as a unit is the soul of Leo. I think this kind of description author has not given for any other constellation yet, whatever I have read. That Leo is a constellation of millions of stars, and the energy that keeps all those millions of stars together in that constellation in a particular shape is the soul of Leo. The soul of Leo creates reorientation, individualization, focus, self determination, independence, and fusion in the human being. So it is the Leo energy that makes us, give us that strength, that courage, so that I say, okay, not anymore. I don't like where I'm heading to. I need to make that change, you know? So the soul of Leo creates reorientation. So probably I'll say, okay, this is not I'm liking, I'll make the changes here. So it creates reorientation, individualization, focus, self determination, independence, and fusion in the human being. These energies create 5 phases in the life of human being. So when the Leo energy is flowing, it creates 5 phases. I think when we'll read the 5 phases, it will make more logical sense. So in the first phase, man is a slave of his body, emotions, thoughts, outer forces, events, influences. So, the first phase of the humanity as a human being, we are uh, the slave of everything. So, my body decides if I will exercise or not. My tongue chooses if I will eat certain thing or not, you know. It is, I'm a slave of my body. I'm slave of my emotions. A lot of time people say, oh, I'm not in the mood of doing something. So I don't like it. And if I don't like it, I'm very, very inflexible. So this is like when I'm not flexible, I am very rigid towards my own inclinations. It is like as a soul, as a human being, I'm a slave of my vehicle. My body rules, my emotions rules, my thought rules. So if I have a certain idea, somebody is giving a certain idea, I'm incapable of listening to it, looking at it, comprehending it. There is so much of slavery in terms of mental aspect, let's say. So when I'm saying he, it's talking about the human being. He is a slave of the environment, of religion, and of politics. Like a human being is a slave. Human being is a slave, and human being is so happy being a slave. How many times we have seen, I think the best example is the beggars on the street, if you have experience. You give them money, they're fine. You say, oh my God, why are you asking? Come with me, I will give you a job. And then they'll say, oh, I don't want job. I'm fine. This is my job. I'm happy. So what does that show? That the person is extremely, he's a big time slave of whatever condition that being is, does not want to change. So the first phase of human beings is the one where we are slave of everything around and we are quite happily settled there. Okay. Sickness, it's there, it's fine. I'll still do cheating here and there in my life. Like there are people who are very, very settled with whatever they are in. Like they're just fine. So he's a slave and he's so happy being a slave because there is no resistance in him. So it's very interesting to know if somebody is really fine with whatever because there is no resistance. It's like whatever is. Resistance requires willpower also. No, it's okay, it's fine. Immediately, when the resistance starts, man loses his happiness. Then the second stage starts. And I think all of us must have experienced that. All of us here. Otherwise, if there is no resistance, no way you will join Thursday this time or Wednesday night time this archangel meditation. For what? Because there is resistance to whatever is. And there is an orientation towards something probably bigger, better, greater, or different. We do not know. So when the resistance, he's a slave and is very happy being a slave because there is no resistance. Immediately when the resistance starts, man loses his happiness and then the second stage starts. So these are the 5 phases in the life of the human being. So the second stage is of confusion. So one part of man wants to be a slave and the other part says, I do not want to be a slave. How many of us have seen, especially with our jobs, like one part, oh my God, there's such a good company and such a good package and this and everything is so fancy and everything. So initially very happy and still happy. Paycheck comes, everybody's happy, but I don't feel, I mean, I have to push. I don't want to be a slave. Why am I? So this is the second phase of human beings, the consciousness, where one part of man wants to be a slave and the other part says, I do not want to be a slave anymore. One part follows the line of least resistance. So, one part of us follows the line of least resistance: eat, drink, lie down, and sleep. A lot of people do that. Least resistance. Okay. This is like a robot. In Hindi, I don't know. I think, yeah, in Hindi, there is a proverb that says, Mulla ki daud masjid tak. That a priest will just go to the temple and come back. That's how, the life of a normal person, that eat, drink, lie down, and sleep, whatever goes on. The other direction in man says, this is not good for your body. This is not good for your emotions. This is not good for your mind, for your family, for your nation, for your humanity. What are you doing? You know, that is the second aspect in us. So the person is confused between the two forces. He starts to drink a bottle of whiskey, and then a voice inside him says, you are not doing the right thing. That's how a lot of time it happens, no? We are eating something, burger, patties, pizza, whatever, gulab jamun, puri, and all. And then a part of us says, this is not what your body wants. That's the duality of forces that goes on. Then he is in conflict. Then we are all in conflict. He still wants to drink the whiskey, but he will not be happy with himself if he drinks it. Right? We have our different whiskey as an object, right? For some it's whiskey, for some it is something else. When he is going to a lecture or reading a good book or doing meditation, another voice says, what about the party tonight? What about your girlfriend, your boyfriend? What about laundry? What about music? Oh, these people. So it's like it's not that only for the unwholesome. Even if you're going towards meditation, but then what about I'm missing my friends? I'm missing on life. I'm missing on. So do I need to be content and I do not become, like progressive? There all kind of conflict comes in mind. Then he cannot enjoy his meditation and study, and he cannot enjoy the party if he goes. So he goes to party, he feels, what am I doing? If he's doing meditation, oh, there is sound, everybody's listening. So that's the stage two, the phase two of confusion. The third stage is of reorientation. So the first, we are slave of whatever is. Then slight kind of resistance came where we start asking ourselves that, oh my God, I'm not happy here. But when that resistance comes, the second phase is of confusion. This, I'm not happy, that I'm not happy, a lot of conflicts. Then after that, the third stage comes, that is of reorientation. The power of Leo lies in man's ability to reorient himself. So how much power, like the power of Leo, that the power that the constellation of Leo is projecting towards the humanity, towards human beings, it lies in the man's ability to reorient himself, to reorient or repolarize. That's how it was the coming, the first reorientation. It's like you're getting pulled towards something else, as if you have changed your positive and negative, the pull earlier, if it was to the north, now you're going to the south, something like that. So the power of Leo lies in the man's ability to reorient himself. To reorient or repolarize yourself means slowly to focus your consciousness toward higher values. So the author is explaining the meaning. To reorient or repolarize yourself means that slowly you shift your focus, you shift your focus of your consciousness towards greater values, especially towards beauty, goodness, truth. So for example, you try to be truthful. So it's like you say, no, I think I don't want to lie anymore. So you try to be truthful. At first, you are 10% truthful and 90% dishonest, but slowly you increase your truthfulness, right? When you become 50% truthful, the power of Leo awakens in you. So whenever we reorient from wherever we are, when we start towards the higher values, initially we are more of what we used to be and less of the higher values. But when we reach to a certain degree, then let's say when you become 50% truthful, the power of Leo awakens in you. Leo says, Awaken to yourself. You are not the physical body, you are not the emotional body, you are not the mental body. There is no nourishment in this identification. Raise yourself up and awaken into the next stage. So, when to a certain degree you are following or adopting and manifesting those virtues in you, the higher values, then that Leo, the power of Leo awakens in you. And when it awakens, then you are able to recognize or feel or understand that I am much bigger than just this physical body, the emotions, and the thoughts. I need to do something more. Like work is okay, but there is something more. So the next stage, so the first stage was of slavery, the second phase of confusion, the third of reorientation, and the fourth, so the next stage or the fourth stage is the stage of becoming. Becoming is that stage of transformation when the personality is under your control. Until you know who you really are, you cannot control whatever is in you that you are not. I need to know, right, who I am, then only I can. So if I understand, if I'm understanding, though I am this physical body, I am this emotions, and that is how it goes, then there is nothing I can do. Then I'm a slave. But only when I have that understanding, no, I am moving this body. But if in my statement I am saying I am moving this body, then I am something different than this body, right? So becoming is the stage of in transformation when the personality is under control. So this physical body, emotions, thoughts, we address them as personality, the which we use, like which we are born as a slave of, let's say. So until you know who you really are, you cannot control whatever is in you and that you are not. So let's say if I am not even aware that I am a very manipulative person in a not good way, how will I come out of this trait? Like people are saying, oh, you just don't stick to your words, you keep on changing, and then I said, no, I am being so truthful. And I'm sure at least you must have come across one or two people for sure in your life where they are not able to see they're not able to see what is not going right with them, and if you point out, they just get triggered. No, it's not true. Right? So if we have to be in the stage of becoming, I need to know who I am, good, bad, ugly, everything. So that awareness is so important. So when you know yourself, you can control your not self. I'll repeat, when you know yourself, you can control your not self. So when I understand that I am not just like any other animal who will just come, eat, sleep, procreate, and because I have mind, create more money and go back, I am a human being. I carry the essence of humanity, which carries the values of goodness and kindness and being supportive and generous. And this is what is much more than what I have been living. So when I see, okay, I am a human being, forget about soul. If I just have, like if each and every human being start reminding themselves that I am human first, then there will be no problem because humanity talks about brotherhood. It talks about giving and sharing, right? So when I know that what I am, then I am able to control what I'm not. So if I understand that I am not anymore an animal who just have to fight, eat, and survive, I have a heart. I have a mind. I have the creative power where I can create and find different ways. Then I choose. I will not continue to do the unwholesome actions, let's say. I will be kind. So, if ever there is so much of selfishness coming in, then I control that because I can see that and then I act differently. I still feel very miserly, poverty, stuck, you know. But when I am there and I see someone in need, then I just say no, but that's not me. That's not me. And then, in spite of the fact I'm still feeling very clingy towards the money or the resources, I still give. So, when you know yourself, you can control what you are not. This knowingness comes when you recognize that your body is not you, your emotions are not you, your mind is not you, that all the attractions coming from the outside world are not you. So, this knowingness comes when we start understanding, no, I'm not just this body will die. The people who are being so, connected to me because of this, the moment this body, like the moment I leave it, they will not even address it as Kim. They will address it as move this body here and there. That's how it happens, right? How many of us still address our loved ones with the relationship in that moment? A lot of time, people around, maybe the family may still be in that mode, but the people do not take the name. Where do I Kim now? They will just say, if this is Kim, they'll say, where do I put this body? Where should That's how it is addressed, right? So, what body, what name, correct? So, this knowingness comes only when we recognize that this is not me. And then a lot of times, how come we say, oh my God, you made me angry? How can the other person has the power to make you angry? So you understand this emotion is not me. Because if it is me, then I can control it, right? Or I have some, it is just coming, it is just flowing. How can something happen to you and you have just no control? Because that is not you. That is a vehicle. It is like I have a mobile phone, but this mobile phone is not me. So if there is some crash happening here, some virus is here, the system, but this is not me. How come? I mean, I think this is exactly how we experience. The physical body is growing older, but inside we don't feel old. How many of you have experienced that? The way I used to dance before, now I try, I see, oh my God, how ugly I'm looking with those movements. And inside me, why is it not moving the way it used to? I used to dance so much big time. So a lot of times, we have to remind ourselves, oh no, you are not in your 20s anymore, right? But then because something inside us which is true us is not changing, what is changing is the vehicle. So as the vehicle change, we learn to navigate and use it better, right? But how can we navigate and use it better when I am not aware that I am not this vehicle? And all the suffering is there because people just think that they are the vehicle. And that's why they just kind of keep on drowning and being a slave. Their suffering seems so much more because they feel that is me. How come there are yogis where we have stories where, like there's a saint and he's meditating, and then there is the Scorpio who's coming and then biting, and then he still nothing happens, he continues to meditate. What is the difference between that body and this body? Because that consciousness, that person is so self-realized that that this body, the vehicle does not have the control. I have that soul has. So the knowingness comes when you recognize that your body is not you. Just imagine, just this one recognition, this body is not me. What is the point if somebody is saying, oh Kim, you are this, not in a good way? Who Kim? That name title is to this body, right? Once I am out, nobody will recognize me. Just imagine. So, if somebody is criticizing this, and if I understand this is not me, this emotion, this thought, not me, who are you criticizing? There will be no ego clash. Don't you think so? But probably when there will be no ego clash, maybe you will be more open to that criticism. And then, from a third person point of view, you will observe this vehicle. How did it react there? How did it react? How much of truth does this person's criticism carry? But then, if there is true, you will be able to see and you will be able to rectify it, and there will be no guilt and nothing. Why? Because you see yourself as a soul. So there is no guilt coming in, but there is always an aspiration to improve, to be better. Because in this world, my soul consciousness needs to manifest out. The qualities of my soul, being a human, like goodness, beauty, righteousness, all of that needs to radiate. And the system is not doing that. But we cannot know till the time we are so uh, how to say it, so intertwined with this, where we are not able to see that this is not me. This is just a vehicle, just the house for me to experience this physical realm. So the stage of becoming is the stage of becoming your true self. This stage also reflects in your outward behavior. So when you are in the stage of becoming, this stage also reflects in your outward behavior. You stop being a mechanical person. People cannot control you. As if they are saying anything, you're not getting triggered and then you're reacting. You stop being mechanical. You're very, very consciously aware. Even if somebody is saying something, then you are a part of you is reacting. And if it is reacting, something is happening, you are even aware of that. That see, this person said that, and this kind of emotion is arising. Now, what do I? It's a very different life of where you live in observation and complete awareness. No biasness, towards the other being and towards self. So this stage also reflects in your outward behavior. You stop being a mechanical person. People cannot control you. When people tell you things, you question those things, analyze them, and accept only those things that you understand or affirm. You become independent. That is exactly what I said in my example earlier. That if somebody is criticizing, you see as a third person, you observe, you analyze, then you say how much of truth it is. If there is truth, you will do something about it. If it is not, it won't even matter. You become independent. You have the will to choose, to discriminate, and to follow the path that is increasingly filling your heart with greater joy, freedom, beauty, goodness, and truth. It is like then you have the will to choose, to discriminate and follow that path that increase joy, that increase freedom. So if something is not resonating with your consciousness, you will say, I will not be a part of it. This is I if you're telling lie, I don't want to be a part of it. No, not this, then you start saying, taking stand, you discern, you do not just follow because everybody is following. Even if it requires you to stand on the other side of your family, on the other side of your loved ones, but you still choose to stand. Does that make sense to everyone? When we stand for that, joy is important. I cannot just, this is vibe, like it is sapping my joy. I don't want to be a part of this work. Like I love you, everything is good, you continue, but please, sorry, my heart is not allowing me, right? And the person can say, oh, but this is so beneficial. Like, what kind of benefit? Which I carry as a burden on my soul. I cannot just like exploit somebody or something like that. So the greatest sickness in the world today is the sickness of dependency and of opening your mouth and swallowing the pills people put in front of you. That means the greatest sickness is whatever the other person is putting, you just take in like a pill. We don't even discern kind of content we watch. First movie, I used to lie in that same category. First day, first show, movie, I have to watch it wherever it is possible. It does not matter what it carries. But then when you are in that stage of becoming, then you choose. So the greatest sickness in the world today is the sickness of dependency and opening your mouth and swallowing the pills people put in front of you. To overcome this sickness, you must receive the energy of Leo, who stands on the rock and roars, I am myself. It does not matter if if you're walking with me. That's why Leo is a lion. It does not matter. I can walk on the path alone, but I'll choose something that resonates with my heart, where I don't feel guilty, where I am not being robbed of my joy and my freedom, right? And the fifth stage is after becoming, the fifth stage is of fusion. Christ explained the psychological mystery of fusion with the following words: unless you lose yourself, you cannot find yourself. The lower self must be fused in a greater self. The individuality must die in the great individuality, which is the only one that exists, which is God. It is like the fusion is where the lower self is 100%, let's say, in control. So the process of fusion is that slowly and slowly, the soul, our inner core qualities are taking control. So I have better willpower. I have more loving, compassionate understanding. I have understanding. I discern. And then I choose. So there is nobody in the world who has the power to choose. I choose for myself, right? People talk about cosmic consciousness, God consciousness, and Christ consciousness. These names have no meaning at all until you have a realization that you are a part of God. So it's so beautiful, these big words, cosmic consciousness. What do you do with cosmic consciousness when you don't even feel that you live in that consciousness? How do you feel there are a lot of karmas who just knows everything that you do? So I think one of the book study I was sharing, and it just feels that just feel once that, let's say, so-called God, what we understand is that consciousness. It's that one body, and you live in that body like a cell. You breathe, you sneeze, you hit, you are kind. That consciousness can sense everything. Okay. So the Leo constellation is the one that helps us to uh, to find ourselves. It is like the line of Leo stands for three things: that you unveil yourself, find yourself, and radiate yourself out as creativity through which you express beauty, goodness, and truth. So, all those people who want to change, who want to transform, who feel stuck, be open and allow, the constellation, the energies of the Leo to be in you, so that you can make that step and you can reorient and refocus, and then you can just, you know make beautiful changes in yourself from wherever you are. I think that's it. That's that are the five stages. I completed all of them for today, so that in this time, when you do the full moon meditation, I think day after tomorrow, right? So when you do it, you have this awareness, right? That this power of lion is coming, so that you can unleash your lion, which is a very kind-hearted being, which carries all the goodness, who is not scared of just what is going around, but has all the capabilities to choose and make one ways and keep on radiating the good things from inside. I think that's it for today. Thank you so much. And before I ask the other team of Om Mani Padme Hum to take over, I have a very beautiful something I experienced I have to share. So all those time when there was no archangel meditation going on, I was on a trip to India, and the Triangles Blessing team, they also have a pranic healing center in Rajkot. Okay, so Jaideep is the one who takes care of that center there. So I God knows what flows, how it flows, what it flows. But then he came up with that idea, and he's the one, like a manifester big time. So we got a podcast recorded for everyone. So it's a podcast, because a lot of time people do not know. A lot of time people have asked me, Kim, speak in Hindi. So he just asked, and we so it is a podcast that is there for general public who have who have really no ideas about. So, a very general talk, but it covers a lot of different topics like depression or so spirituality, and like a lot of different things. It was a very beautiful conversation that took place, and a lot was flowing. And the interesting part was, as me speaking, I thought I'm just speaking what I normally speak. So, a lot of people who have been there listening to me, a lot of things would be something that you would already know, you must have heard. So I was kind of skeptical, as if, how is the response about somebody else? Like, this is something very like day to day talk for me. But then the people who are there, the team, especially the ones with the cameras and all of that, when they shared that feedback, especially I think I remember the most beautiful one was they were very young beings, like 20s, 80s, something. And then he said, we cannot just sit so still for such a long time. When you were speaking, and I think I really like those. I mean, I was really so beautiful to hear when they say that we had a lot of questions, but then they just got answered. So the team, I'm very grateful to Jaideep, to Triangle's Blessing team, to Ashirwad, to the Pranic Healing Rajkot team, and everybody behind. We came up with that with this intention only, that may whosoever listen to it be able to find something valuable. May it touches the person's heart. And we are releasing the podcast tomorrow. It's 8/8 Leo's thing. So I think it will have a lot of information which will give a lot of understanding to make reorientation. So it's 8th of August, 8 at Portal, and we'll be releasing it Indian Standard Time, 8 p.m. So it's like 8 8 8 8, the energies of transformation, reorientation, and expansion, and whatnot. And it is just before the full moon. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm very excited for that. We will share the link of the podcast as it get released, and I think we'll try if it is possible to meet just 10 minutes, 15 minutes before the podcast, and then be together when it releases. So we'll just see. Yeah, thank you for asking how will you get the link. The Triangles team, they'll share. They'll share. So thank you so much, everyone. That's all from my side. And Farzana, please go ahead with Om Mani Padme Hum. Very grateful, very excited and joyful. Thank you.
All happy news. Great news. Nice. So, Atma Namaste, everyone. Thank you for